Arewa group unleash praises on the Nigerian army over the killing of an imam and spiritual head of Bøkøh people. The Arewa Coalition of Truth and Justice (ACTJ) has commended the Nigerian army over the killing of the imam and spiritual head of Bøkøh people, as well as other top commanders of the radical sect. The group described the defeat as a welcome development, an indication that the army is living up to expectations in its efforts at ridding the northeast of the remnants of Bøkøh people. In a statement signed by its president, Dr. Abubakar Gana, on Tuesday, ACTJ expressed optimism that in no distant time, insurgency will be a thing of the past. According to the group, terrorism has lingered because the troops haven't received the much needed support from the political leadership in Northeast. The Arewa Coalition for Truth and Justice, however, called on relevant stakeholders to continue to lend their support to the troops as it continued to push for the final decimation of the remnants of the terrorist group. It further hailed the leadership of the Nigerian army as well as the officers and soldiers in the theater of operations. The Arewa Coalition for Truth and Justice is in receipt of the exploits of the Nigerian army in the fight against Bøkøh people terrorists that led to the killing of the imam and spiritual head of Bøkøh people, as well as 6 top commanders of the group in a recent onslaught in northeast Nigeria. This feat is indeed a welcome development and an indication that the Nigerian army is indeed living up to expectations in its effort at ridding the northeast of the remnants of Bøkøh people terrorists in the various hideouts. The Arewa Coalition for Truth and Justice have followed the operations of the Nigerian army in northeast Nigeria, states that this feat is an indication of what to expect in the coming months with regards to the curtailing the nefarious activities of the Bøkøh people group. There is no element of doubt whatsoever as regards the strength, capacity, and professionalism of the Nigerian army to deal decisively with the Bøkøh people group, as evident in the killing of the spiritual leader of the group and 6 top commanders of the group. The Arewa Coalition for Truth and Justice wishes to use this medium to call on all stakeholders to continue to lend their support to the Nigerian army as it continues to push for the final decimation of the remnants of the Bøkøh people terrorist group. We also state that no one should make any mistake anywhere that the Bøkøh people terrorists can overwhelm the Nigerian army, as this can only happen when we discourage the fighting force and their commanders. That is only when the Bøkøh people terrorists would have the impetus begin to plant dangerous explosives to attack the troops. The Arewa Coalition for Truth and Justice believes that with the right support for the Nigerian army, tangible results will be achieved within 6 months in the fight against terrorism in northeast Nigeria. It is instructive to state that the war against Bøkøh people terrorism has lingered because the Nigerian army hasn't received the needed support by the political leadership in northeast, unlike the northwest that the Nigerian army has received tremendous support that has resulted in a recent success in the war against armed banditry. We wish to call on all critical stakeholders to extend their support to the Nigerian army in operation in northeast Nigeria in their bid to curtail the threat posed by the Bøkøh people terrorists. This is indeed the time for all hands to be on deck in this critical point in war against terrorism and other acts of criminalities across the country. Nigerians must come to terms that the success of the operation of the Nigerian army is indeed the success of the country at large. It consequently behoves on all discerning Nigerians to put our sentiments aside and be guarded in our actions and inactions toward the efforts of the Nigerian army in its various operations across the country. The Arewa Coalition for Truth and Justice is buoyed by the recent exploits of the Nigerian army and pledges to continually mobilize support for its operations across all divides in the country. The imperativeness of this action cannot be lost on us if we are desirous of seeing to the end of the Bøkøh people crisis in the northeast Nigeria. The Arewa Coalition for Truth and Justice commends the leadership of the Nigerian army as well as the officers and soldiers in the theater of operations in northeast Nigeria for the display of gallantry and dedication to the Nigerian cause. Thank you for listening to this news. Of course, the Nigerian army are trying despite the tough time that they are having, despite the difficult time they are having, and also for the fact that their needs are not met. You see, this is why they are lamenting, this is why they are crying, calling on the Chief of Army Staff, Buratai, to come to their aid, supply them with more weapons, more guns, more ammunition, instead of them to supply these Nigerian soldiers with the weapons that they need to wipe these terrorists out of this surface of the earth. Instead of them supplying them, they keep supplying the terrorists themselves weapons. This is what is just weakening the Nigerian army and making them to feel redundant and weak and unwilling to move on. That is why I'm not even discouraged when I heard that 370 soldiers are tendering a resignation out of the Nigerian army. It's worth it. They really need to resign. Do you want them to die at the war front? How can they go to the war empty-handed without any backup? Their weapon serves as their backup. Yes, God is their true backup, but they need a physical backup. They need a physical backup to get themselves secured. My viewers, could this not be the plan of the insider? Could this not be the evil plot of the sponsors of Bøkøh people in this administration? Planning not to fortify the Nigerian soldiers with the needed weapons to wipe these miscreants out of this country. They already know. They know what the Nigerian army are capable of. That is why they are denying them of what they need. You see? So the word to be commended. The word to be commended. That is the reason why I keep saying that there is no need for the Nigerian army to hand over border check-ins to the Nigerian police, because if they do so, you will see the crime, the rate at which crime will escalate and increase in this country. You will see it. My viewers, we really need to speak up, or else the security force in Nigeria will drop drastically and nothing will be done about it. Is it the Nigerian police that want to go to war for us? Don't we know that it's as a result of the effort of the Nigerian army? That is why these miscreants have not been able to locate us in our areas, in our communities. Viewers, we really need to comment on this issue. Alright, so please, your comments are very much important. Don't forget to leave them behind. Click on the subscription button as well as bell button to receive more updates. Thank you.